Assalamualaikum and hello. In this video, we are going to focus about Lewis structure and formal charge. This is the continuation video from the previous one where we are going to apply what we've learned so far about formal charge in order to determine the most plausible Lewis structure. There are two characteristics that you have to use in order to determine the most plausible Lewis structure. The first one is the formal charge must be approaching zero ataupun equal to zero. And the second part, sekiranya kita tidak dapat menentukan menggunakan statement yang pertama, kita akan gunakan another statement iaitu negative formal charge must appear on the most electronegative atoms. So that is why it is very important for you to understand about electronegativity and also for you to know which elements in the periodic table that is the most electronegative. You need to know that sometimes one molecule can exist in many forms. So that's why when you draw the Lewis structures for selected molecules, you have to know which Lewis structures that you have is the most plausible one. So that is why we are going to apply formal charge calculation in order to determine which Lewis structure is the most stable. Let's start with example 1. I have CS2 here. So I'm going to draw the Lewis structure for CS2. We're going to start with the calculation of all valence electrons in CS2 molecule. So we have carbon, 4 valence electrons, and we have 2 sulfur. It means that 2 times 6 valence electron, and it is 12 electrons. And then the total will be 16 electrons. So from here, we are going to determine who is going to be our central atom. In this case, carbon is going to be our central atom. So I will draw carbon as a center, and carbon is bonded to 2 sulfur atoms. So now we got 2 bonding pairs. It means that 4 electrons already used up, so minus 4 electrons. The balance is 12 electrons, and after that I'm going to fill all 12 electrons at the terminal atoms as lone pair. So 6 for one s atom and another 6 electrons at another s atoms. So right now you can see that we use all 12 electrons, so it means that no more electrons left. So the calculation is correct so far. And now I'm going to make sure my central atom carbon is octet. But as you see here, it only contains 4 electrons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rearrange my structure. So I'm going to take 2 lone pairs, each from 1 sulfur atom. So 1 lone pair from left and 1 lone pair from the right. So I'm going to delete a pair from here and a pair from here, and I'm going to form double bond. Now carbon already achieved stability. So this is one structure for CS2. So we are going to label it as A. Let's go to another one where we can form another structure for CS2 where our carbon is still the central atom. So I'm going to draw carbon bonded to 2 sulfur atoms. And after that, same case, we got 6 dots symbol for each sulfur. And then we use up all 12 electrons. And the same case here, we are going to balance the carbon atoms so that it can achieve octet configuration. But right now, untuk structure A, saya buat both side ada double bond. But in this case, I'm going to make it as triple bond. So how to do that? I'm going to focus. For example, I'm going to take one lone pair from here and another lone pair from here to make two bonding pairs. So I'm going to replace 2 here and 2 here so that it can make triple bond. You can also make at this side, so whichever side you prefer, both the same because you will get one side between one sulfur atoms with carbon, and the triple bond is in the middle of them. So this is another structure for CS2. So inilah maksud saya certain molekul yang mempunyai Lewis structure lebih daripada satu bentuk. So now daripada sini kita akan tentukan which structure, either A or B, is going to be the most plausible Lewis structure. Kita akan gunakan formal charge calculation. So I'm going to calculate using the most basic one. So let's try to do the calculation for structure A first. So I got carbon with 4 valence electrons minus with 4 items here. So it means that total formal charge is 0. And then the second one, I got sulfur. In this case, I'm going to label this one as A, this one as B. Same case, this one as A, this one as B. So that make it more easier for you to calculate later on. So let's continue with SA, where sulfur got 6 valence electrons and you minus with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. So it will get 0 formal charge for SA. And we got SB, 6 valence electrons minus with 6 items as well. You will get 0 for SB. Now the total formal charge for this one is FC 0. And let's go to the next structure, structure B, where I'm going to calculate the formal charge for each atom as well. So starting from carbon, so carbon has 4 valence electrons minus with, we got 4 items here, so minus 4 equals to 0. And then we got SA, in this case 6 minus 7 items, you will have negative 1. And then we got last one, SB, 6 minus, as you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 items, you will have positive 1. Don't forget the sign positive and negative. And the total formal charge here is FC equals to 0. It is neutral molecule, so memang proven kita akan dapat total formal charge sama seperti charge of this neutral molecule, iaitu 0. The last part before you do the conclusion, you have to write the formal charge on each atom. So I'm going to write for carbon in structure A is 0, this one also 0, and this one also 0. For structure B, carbon is 0, SA is negative 1, and SB is positive 1. Right now, between these two, macam mana kita nak conclude, kita akan gunakan statement yang saya explain from the previous slide, where you have to determine the most plausible Lewis structure is the structure that has total formal charge closer to 0 ataupun equals to 0. So, seperti mana yang awak lihat di sini, kita ada structure A untuk semua atoms mempunyai 0 formal charge, dan structure B hanya untuk carbon sahaja value for the formal charge is 0. Apart from that, bukan 0. So, which one is the most plausible? Structure A. So, barulah kita boleh buat statement untuk conclusion, iaitu di mana we can say that the most plausible Lewis structure is structure A. That is first point. And then the second point, awak kena bagi tahu reason kenapa. So, awak boleh cakap, it is due to the all atoms in the molecule contain zero formal charge. So, once you write it like this, your answer is already complete. So, it's very easy. Syaratnya, awak kena calculate valence electrons dengan betul dan draw the Lewis structure correctly. Let's try another example. We have NO2+. So, how to do this one? Start from the first step, draw the Lewis structure. So, I'm going to calculate the valence electrons for nitrogen is 5 electron. And I got 2 oxygen, it means that 12 electrons here. And then we got positive charge here, bermaksud kurang 1 elektron. So, awak kena minus 1 electron. So, the total adalah 16 electrons. And now, we are going to determine our central atom is going to be nitrogen because nitrogen is more electropositive than oxygen. So, I'm going to put nitrogen as my central atom bonded to 2 oxygen atom. So, 4 electrons already used up, minus 4. Yang tinggal adalah 12 electrons. And then 12 electrons saya akan isi dekat bahagian oxygen. Ada 3 lone pairs, each of them. And what's next? You are going to minus 12 electrons and the remaining electrons is 0. So, the calculation correct so far. And now, what we're gonna do, kita akan completekan bahagian central atom iaitu nitrogen. Dia mesti mempunyai octet configuration. So, same case as before, saya akan ambil 1 lone pair from each oxygen untuk gantikan sebagai 1 bonding pair. Dan kita akan buat double bond. So, how to do that? I'm going to delete 2 of these and make 2 bonding pair. So, ini adalah structure awak dan please remember masih belum complete di mana you have to draw square bracket with positive charge. So, settle for the structure and this is structure A. Next one, let's draw another one. Case yang sama, kita ada N bonded kepada oxygen dan each oxygen mempunyai 3 lone pairs. Maksudnya ada 6 electrons. And after that, saya perlu balancekan central atom saya. So, saya ambil case yang sama untuk CS2 sebelum ini. Saya akan delete 2 lone pairs from whichever oxygen yang awak nak. So, saya akan ambil daripada oxygen sebelah kiri for this time. So, I will delete 2 of this and 2 of this. And what will happen? Saya akan buat triple bond. So, ini adalah another structure for NO2+. Dan jangan lupa untuk letak square bracket dan charge positive. So, we can label this structure as structure B. And now, from here, we are going to calculate. So, let's calculate for the first structure first. So, I'm going to do for nitrogen. Nitrogen has 5 valence electrons minus with 4 items here. So, the formal charge for nitrogen adalah positive 1. And the next one, kita ada, untuk case ini adalah OA, ini OB. OA dan OB. Untuk saya bezakan 2 oxygen atom. So, we'll calculate for OA with 6 minus 6. You will have 0. And untuk OB, we got 6 minus 6 equals to 0. So, the total formal charge is going to be FC equals to positive 1. Dan seperti mana yang kita lihat, positive 1 sama seperti charge of this polyatomic ion iaitu positive 1 as well. Now, kita calculate for structure B. So, I'm going to start with nitrogen equals to 5 valence electrons minus 4. We're going to get positive 1. And after that, for OA, I'm going to have 6 minus 5. We will have positive 1. And then we got OB equals to 6 minus 7 equals to negative 1. So the total formal charge for this case is FC equals to positive 1. So antara dua ini, awak lihat awak sudah mempunyai nilai total formal charge. Last but not least, don't forget to label. Kita akan label based on structure A dahulu. So nitrogen is positive 1 dalam kurungan. Oksigen A adalah 0. Oksigen B adalah 0. And same with structure B. Nitrogen adalah positive 1. OA adalah positive 1 dan OB adalah negative 1. So this is how you label the formal charge on your Lewis structure. And the next one, kita akan buat conclusion. Which one from A and B is going to be the most plausible Lewis structure? So kita akan lihat yang mana structure yang paling banyak nilai 0. So kita lihat di sini kita ada structure A yang mempunyai 2 zero values. Tapi untuk structure B memang tiada langsung. So the most plausible Lewis structure is going to be structure A. So how to do the conclusion? As usual, write your answer. The most plausible Lewis structure is A. Seperti mana yang awak label, itulah pilihan awak. And second point, you have to explain what is the reason. And for the second point, macam mana awak nak berikan reason? As you see here, the value for A lebih rendah dan mempunyai lebih banyak zero formal charge berbanding structure B. So that's why kita akan tulis second point as A has the smallest formal charge. So that is going to be your second point. So that's why in order for you to determine the most plausible Lewis structure, you have to draw the correct Lewis structure first. And then calculate formal charge dengan betul dan pastikan awak akan dapat nilai yang betul at the end. And after that, determine which one is the most stable dan jangan lupa berikan reason, be specific based on atom ataupun molecules yang diberikan dalam soalan. Jangan jawab terlalu general. So that's how you answer example 2. Let's go to the next example, which is I got OCN minus. So oxygen has 6 valence electrons and then carbon has 4 valence electrons and nitrogen has 5 valence electrons. And then total up everything, kita ada 15 electrons and due to the negative sign, kita ada extra 1 electron. So total dia adalah 16 electrons. And now I'm going to determine who is going to be my central. It is carbon. Because carbon adalah yang paling electropositive. So we go to the first one, iaitu carbon in the middle between nitrogen and oxygen. So now I'm going to draw straight away saya punya bracket supaya saya tak lupa. So saya draw saya punya bracket ada negative charge. So now from here we got 2 bonding pairs, maknanya 4 electrons. So minus 4 electrons, bakinya adalah 12 electrons. So each nitrogen and oxygen ada 6 dot symbol. So kita dah use up all 12 electrons. So minus, kita akan dapat baki 0 electrons. And this case, I'm going to make my carbon to achieve octet configuration. Saya akan replace 1 lone pair each side untuk buat double bond antara carbon dengan nitrogen dan oksigen. So what will happen, ini saya akan delete, ini pun saya akan delete. Saya akan ada ganti dengan two bonding pairs each side of the carbon. So this is the first structure, iaitu saya label sebagai 1 Roman. And then kita ada another structure, iaitu kita draw bracket dahulu. Saya ada carbon bonded kepada oksigen dan nitrogen, and saya tutup bracket negative charge. So here saya akan gunakan cara yang sama, 6 dots each nitrogen and oxygen. So right now kita akan lihat, kita akan buat triple bond. So triple bond for the first one, structure ini saya akan buat triple bond dekat bahagian of nitrogen. So maknanya saya akan buang 2 lone pair. So I replace 2 of these dan gantikan dengan bonding pair. So kita dapat triple bond dan carbon sudah achieve octet seperti mana oksigen dan juga nitrogen. So ini adalah the second structure, saya label sebagai 2 Roman. So your labeling can be anything, any unknowns yang awak nak guna. And last one, awak kena faham, bukan sahaja 2 structure kita boleh buat, kita boleh buat another structure di mana dalam case lagi satu, triple bond kita boleh buat antara carbon dan oksigen. So, what will happen, saya akan mempunyai another structure, iaitu saya draw square bracket, carbon bonded kepada nitrogen dan oksigen, close the bracket, negative charge. And case sekarang, saya ada nitrogen dan oksigen, each of them, kalau kita ikut cara kita lukis pada awal, is going to be like this. But right now, saya nak buat triple bond dekat bahagian antara oksigen dan carbon. So that's why saya replace 2 lone pairs from oxygen with 2 bonding pair. Dan saya akan dapat structure yang ketiga, 3 Roman. So from here, kita akan calculate based on this structure. So how to do that? Let's go to the structure 1 Roman first. So starting from carbon has 4 minus 4 items, kita dapat 0. And then nitrogen kita ada 5 minus, dalam case ini 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So kita ada 6. Jawapan dia negative 1. And oxygen kita ada 6 minus, kita ada 6. So this is going to be 0. Total formal charge FC adalah negative 1. Next case, kita ada structure 2 Roman. Untuk carbon, kita ada 4 minus 4 equals to 0. And then untuk nitrogen, kita ada 5 minus 5 equals to 0. And untuk oksigen, kita ada 6 minus 7 equals to negative 1. So, total formal charge FC adalah negative 1. And last one, for the last structure, carbon equals to 4 minus 4 equals to 0. And then kita ada nitrogen, 5 minus 7 equals to negative 2. And kita ada oksigen, iaitu 6 minus 5 equals to positive 1. Total formal charge FC adalah negative 1. So from here, awak boleh nampak kita sudah ada value untuk semua formal charge for all atoms. So don't forget to label. Kita start from structure 1. So carbon adalah 0, nitrogen adalah negative 1, oxygen adalah 0. And next one, structure 2, carbon 0, nitrogen 0, oksigen negative 1. And kita ada this one, iaitu carbon 0, nitrogen negative 2, and oksigen positive 1. So as you see here, awak boleh nampak ada banyak perbezaan. So, which one kita akan tentukan the most plausible Lewis structure? Awak kena lihat berdasarkan statement yang kita nampak, iaitu pilih structure yang mempunyai banyak value 0. So, antara structure 1, 2, 3, structure 3 kita akan kick out first one sebab 0 hanya ada satu sahaja. Untuk 1 and 2 kita ada 2 zero values. So maknanya sekarang kita kena pilih antara 1 and 2. So how to do this? We are going to use the second statement, iaitu negative formal charge must appear on the most electronegative atom. So antara oksigen dengan nitrogen, kalau structure 1 Roman, kita ada negative 1 atas nitrogen. Untuk structure 2 Roman, kita ada negative 1 atas oksigen. So, antara oksigen dengan nitrogen, yang mana the most electronegative? Kita get back to awak punya knowledge about electronegativity. Between nitrogen and oxygen, oxygen is the most electronegative. So, that's why case ini untuk OCN minus, the most plausible Lewis structure adalah structure 2. So, how to do this? Kita find dia adalah the most plausible Lewis structure is, dalam case ini, 2 Roman. Settle for the first statement. Dan second statement kita kena bagi tahu reason, iaitu kita kena cakap the negative formal charge berada is on the most electronegative atom. Dalam kes ini adalah which is oxygen atom. So this is how you answer by using this example. So, saya perkenalkan 3 examples untuk awak faham different type of molecules yang dia boleh beri. So, saya harap awak clear dengan explanation saya untuk video kali ini. Saya tinggalkan try this 5.0 all together with try this 6.0. And please try to do this question so that you can know how far you understand my lesson. So I'll stop here. For the next video, we are going to focus about exception from the octet rule. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.